My town is home in the pleasantest sense of the word. From the early call of the milkman through a day of normal activities, one gets the feeling that this is a community of good neighbors. The kind of a place you'd like to live in, perhaps grow old in. The kind of a place you'd take pride in, that a great many people take pride in. That's my town.
You don't want your neighbors in your house all the time if you don't know them that well. Like, what's the extent? What do you really know about them? You say hi, you say bye. You don't know them that well, so you don't let people in your house you don't know. Do you?
First of all, you want to have a cordial relationship. I know people who have terrible relationships in other neighborhoods with their neighbors, and it's a very stressful situation.
I'm a firm believer in knowing your neighbors. I mean, when the new couple moved next door, probably about a month ago, I was hanging over the fence introducing myself. Because when I work in my yard, anybody walks by, I say hello. And it's amazing the people that will stop and talk to you while you're doing your yard work, compliment your yard. If somebody lives out in the boonies, it's because they want to live out in the boonies. You have city people, true city dwellers, who probably never talk to their neighbors. Then you have we are in semi-suburbs, but we're still a pretty tight city. We like to know our neighbors. If you go out to Boxford, Topsfield, I don't think people know their neighbors as well because of the distance between the houses.
It's not the kind of neighborhood where the doors are open and there's a lot of running back and forth to neighbors. We're separated by, as you can see, huge trees. We don't necessarily know when our neighbors are there. So visually, we don't really see our neighbors come and go.
It's hard to get really close to them. It's not like they're an extension of our social life, but it's nice that you can greet them and talk to them and talk about family issues or something. But it's not the kind of neighborhood where we walk over to someone's house and go into their living room or vice versa.
That's what drives the community attitude toward each other, is the chance for bumping into each other. And many of the living arrangements don't really allow for anybody to bump into anyone, and that may be intentional, but the result is the neighborhood couldn't quite be as close.
It's sort of an island unto itself from the rest of Peabody. Everyone maintains their home. People will respect your privacy, but people are also accessible to help you when you need the help. My neighbor across the street, Jack's wonderful. When he's tuning up his lawnmower, he says, "Bring yours over, I might as well do yours." Or when you're done with the snowblower, bring it over, I'll tune up yours.
I'm a retired mechanical engineer who like working on engines and whatnot, and if Gary has a problem with a snowblower or something like that, it's easy to get it up and running, where for him it would be a call to the Stronzi brothers to have them come and cart it away. It's just we help each other out, and it's easy enough.
I have a friend who lives in West Roxbury, and his street, people are constantly going into each other's kitchen and borrowing a cup of sugar. That's they're really close friends, and it's very, very different than around here. You kind of coexist, you get along, but you don't really have very close relationships.
The people I know I trust. Some of them, if they're just odd people, I stay away from them. So if I don't know them, I would stay away from them.
I have no reason not to trust my neighbors. Some of my neighbors have the keys to my house in case we're not here. I know where the keys are. The only problems we had when we first moved in, where there were the kids not from this neighborhood but in the city, who were breaking into every house on the other side of the street. Joan and myself and another neighbor organized a neighborhood watch, and we all met, about 30 people. We handed out leaflets, about 30 of us met in our backyard. Joan made brownies for everyone, and we organized a neighborhood watch. We gave a sense of camaraderie to the neighborhood, and we got to know each other a lot better. It's kind of an interesting experience.
There's no such thing as spending an evening with the neighbor today. No, not in this time.
Yeah.
And
it's usually for an occasion.
yeah.
birthday and anniversaries,
Right.
something along that line. But I think just going over to hang out and play cards and things like that, I don't think much of that exists anymore.
I would love that, but
It's 1960.
yeah.
I know when we first moved in, the people next door used to have an annual neighborhood block party, and then we get the police would give us these barriers. They'd block off the street for us, and then someone would get a couple of kegs of beer, and we'd roast hot dogs and hamburgers, and everyone would gather next door and have a neighborhood party. They moved on, and it hasn't happened since.
It was a totally different structure in life. You played constantly. There's no video games. You rode your bike, you played outside. That's what you did. Television was 3 channels. It was a little different back then. So you were out, dawn till dusk. And all of the parents, then I knew every neighbor for blocks and blocks around.
There is a big difference in the kids don't go out to play anymore. When we were growing up, we didn't have the internet. There was TV, but we'd go outside playing jump rope, riding our bikes, and you don't really see that. Fundamentally, I think it's changed people, all this technology. There's something different. So things have changed, people have changed, and probably that's why the neighborhood's so quiet. People are more, what's the word? Cocooning.
The biggest difference is that the parents both work now. When mom stayed home and the children had a reason to stay home in the neighborhood, there were things to do. There was a socialization in the neighborhood because the children and moms were home. Now everybody leaves in the morning. Parents go to work, children go to daycare. We noticed it with ours where you got to the point where there was nobody for the children to play with. You had to put them into some kind of program just to give them something to do. Otherwise they were stuck at home. It wasn't the neighborhood play group anymore.
We knew the neighbors who had kids because that was a commonality for us all. At this point in time, it's become a little bit more transient. It's a third generation with kids, and for instance, we just had the 2 neighbors to the left of our house were here for probably 4 years, and they just sold their houses the other day.
When the kids are together all the time, and you're running around with the kids and hanging out, or your kid introduces you to somebody new, you end up sitting there with the parents. And I was just with someone yesterday at a baby shower, and that's how we all met, was through my middle daughter.
When you're younger and you have children and there's other younger parents in the neighborhood, you have something to bond with. You bond with the fact that you have children together. And then when you get older, the children are gone. So you're probably less likely to be going over to your neighbor's house.
I don't feel great about the fact that these people's lives are right next door to mine, and we do not know much about them for the most part. And I wish, they're nice people. The ones I think are nice people, it'd be nice to have more interaction with. I don't need my neighbors as friends, but I think neighborhoods are potentially great resources for who knows what, but I don't think we in particular think of it that way, and I don't think anybody else in the neighborhood does either, because nobody else is sort of saying let's get together and have a potluck or something. But I think that kind of thing is important.
I think we're pretty fortunate to live here. We bought the house at a good time, so we're burdened with massive bills and mortgages. It's a good crossroad area.
I do want to add that this is a great neighborhood and that I've been here for so long that I'll probably die here. I don't want to ever leave my home. I'd like to stay here till the end of my life.
It's a micro community, your little neighborhood, to have that little nice community where you can sit on your front porch and wave to people as they go by and stuff. I mean, I like that, and I've been very happy here. So this is not a place I want to leave anytime soon.